It's a profound time we live in right now, ladies and gentlemen. A truly profound time. I've never seen anything like it, and I say that in a good way. Oh, there are dark clouds. Don't get me wrong, there are grave things happening with the Marxists and the Islamists, no question. With the cancer, the poison that is anti-Semitism and anti-Americanism. But the question the media pundits keep asking is, what is happening to the Democrat Party? What is happening to the Democrat Party? This is a question that radio and TV hosts and pundits are asking themselves. What happened is that the people, you've learned a great deal about the Democrat Party and its ideology, or should I say ideologies, over the years, and you don't like it. As I say over and over again, ideas do have consequences. Educating and reading remain crucial. Unfortunately, too many people with microphones and TV cameras have forgotten about this. Scholarship, history, philosophy still matter. They've always mattered. It's called getting back to basics, getting back to our founding principles, beliefs, and values, and exposing those who seek to pervert, undermine, and destroy them. In 2019, I wrote a book, Unfreedom of the Press, which sold hundreds of thousands of copies and exposed the media's bias and corruption in promoting the Democrat Party and its agenda. In 2021, I wrote a book, American Marxism. It was a massive bestseller, sold nearly 1.5 million copies. It exposed the Marxist influence in our culture and society and the Democrat Party's role in promoting it. In 2023, I wrote a book called The Democrat Party Hates America, my longest book, which sold hundreds of thousands of copies and exposed the long, poisonous history of the Democrat Party. And as you know, as is my practice, I spent considerable time on radio and TV discussing these books and my research and my arguments. I'm an activist. I'm on a mission. I've always believed that the more we become informed, especially over time, the truth reveals itself to the many. This is why I write these books. I'm asked in these interviews I do by these wonderful hosts, why do you write these books? This is why I write these books. Here's the truth. The written word is much more powerful than the broadcast medium, although both are important. But it also helps explain why so many in the broadcast medium keep asking me what has happened to the Democrat Party. We, the people, are in the know. That's what has happened to the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is struggling and failing because it stands for virtually everything most Americans reject. It doesn't mean the Democrat Party is finished or that it cannot win future elections. On the contrary, there are many factors that even unpopular parties and movements employ to acquire and retain power, like an open border, like changing the election laws and so forth. But take at least some solace in the fact that at this moment in history, right now, you, are making a difference. And we need to keep at it. And we need to keep at it. Conservatives in every stage of life are faced with ever-increasing challenges to our values in the classroom, on campus, and at work. Prepare yourself with a solid understanding of our nation's founding principles in today's most important public policy debates. The Heritage Foundation created the Heritage Academy to help ensure that every conservative from any walk of life has the foundation and the tools needed to defend their values. This 8-week online fellowship includes policy lectures on the most pressing issues facing Americans today, live Q&As to learn from top experts in the conservative movement, and opportunities to connect with other conservatives around the country. Without Without conservatives grounded in truth and informed on the state of our nation, America as we know it cannot survive. So please go to heritage.org/Levin, heritage.org/Levin, and learn more about the Heritage Academy and how you can apply. That's heritage.org/Levin, heritage.org/Levin, paid for by the Heritage Foundation. I was motivated to open with this statement and to post this because of some of the wonderful interviews I've had. I believe my last book interview was this afternoon. Because I've said I've done 100 or more, and at this point that's enough. Either people want the book on power or they don't. But I want you to understand why I write these books. It's very important. The written word. Does anybody know what any broadcaster said in 2019 about anything, Mr. Producer? Very little, right? In 2021, in 2023, 7.5 weeks ago. Oh, don't get me wrong. There have been profound statements here and there. But oddly enough, it's the written word that lives forever. That's why it's so important that when you post on social media, you think about what you're posting. The written word lasts forever. Forever. 100 years from now, 200 years from now, 10 years from now, who knows? These hosts have been fantastic who've interviewed me for this book. Some have compared me to Rush. Some have compared me to de Tocqueville. Some have even gone beyond that. There was only one Rush. There was only one de Tocqueville. I get it, and I know it. I'm just Mark Levin, and this is what I do. And this is what I do. These books aren't written as an afterthought. These books aren't written for money. In fact, the least amount of money I receive is from books. I have no co-authors. I have no ghostwriters. The vast majority of people who ask you to read or buy, quote-unquote, their books have both. I have neither, and I never have. I just can't bring myself to come to you and my radio audience, TV audience, and encourage you to do something under false pretenses. I can't do it. I can't do it. You know, in Men in Black, my first book, where some of my friends helped do the research, you'll notice in the acknowledgement section I said their names and thanked them. But you'll notice that in the vast majority of my books, I don't do that. Because I do the research. All of them. It is important to me that if I'm going to try and make a case to you, that it's my case that I'm making to you. Mr. Producer, you can open your microphone. How many people write my monologues?
0.
0. And Rich, you've been with me how many years?
About 22.
22 years. You can ask the people who I work with on Blaze, my producers. You can ask my producers at Fox on Life, Liberty, and Levin. How many people write your monologues, your opening statements? None. 0. That's not really that important. What's important is the content, I hope. I think that's the goal. 23 years behind this microphone, right, Rich? Is that what we figured out? 23 years. I do things a little differently. Depends on the day. Depends on what's happening. But I spend a lot of time on history and philosophy and books. And for the most part, program directors and general managers who run stations or a group of stations, they've understood this. The show's different. It's different. My Fox show is different. I have 2 guests, sometimes 1 guest. Long-form interviews. Not a machine gun process of guests and issues and this, that, and the other. And you have reacted very positively over the years to this. What I'm saying is the Democrat Party has been exposed in part by us. The media that's given it air cover has been exposed. The ideology that moves that party, that is that party, what I call American Marxism, and I would now add Islamism and anti-Semitism, has been exposed. Has been exposed. And the Democrat Party's history of bigotry and racism and anti-Semitism and so much more has been exposed in exquisite detail. Exquisite detail. And you don't have to memorize what I say here or elsewhere. You can grab the book and turn the page. There it is. And over the years, thousands of citations, thousands, to give the original source material. The reason the Democrat Party is having problems figuring out who it is today is really not an issue of figuring out who it is today. It has, from its very beginning, been a party that has rejected Americanism. From slavery to segregation, to Marxism, Islamism, and anti-Semitism. None of those things are Americanism. None of them. None of them. CRT, 1619 Project, DEI, rejecting merit and individualism. That's not Americanism. It's the opposite. Secularism, massive bureaucracies, centralized government programs. That's not our founding. That's not who we are. That's not what makes America great. That doesn't nurture the individual. That doesn't give breathing room to an individual's free will. We are the sovereign. That's not Americanism. Wokeism and all the rest of it. They've been exposed. There are millions and millions of you who've read these books, who've listened to this program over the decades, who now watch my program on Fox, and others, don't get me wrong, and others. You are citizens. You are involved citizens. The fact that you even listen to this program, the fact that you listen to this program and not something else at the same time, all the alternatives that you have, says a lot about you and your priorities and what's important to you. The fact that millions of you have purchased my books says a lot about you. When people say books are done, they're so blasé. They're so yesterday. It's you. You make the difference. Why do I do 3 book signings? I don't have to do any book signings. Because I want to hear and see people, look them in the eye, hear what they have to say. At the Reagan Library, we had a sold-out crowd. The library, which is a huge library, a fantastic library, I encourage you to visit it. It was filled to the rafters. And almost to a person, they said the same thing. We like it when you discuss history and philosophy. We like when you discuss this and that. People are already reading the books as they stand in line. Same with the Barnes & Noble group at Reston. Same with the others. And so I believe it has an impact. It has an impact over time. So when hosts and pundits are asking, what's going on? What's happened? It's because they spend too much time bouncing like a ping pong ball from one quick subject to the next, from one superficial issue to the next, without slowing down and having a discussion with you, which is what I try to do.